What's up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and opinions on the current state of the game. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the rush meta. Second thing I'm going to talk about is the grappling. And the third thing I'm going to talk about is the Grandpa Perk rework update. And don't worry, when I talk about these three things, I'm also going to include the lobbies. I'm definitely going to be talking about the lobbies as well. So don't worry about that. I know that's a huge issue in the game right now. So I'll definitely keep that in mind and talk about it throughout the whole video. And also keep in mind that as I talk about, like the grappling and the rush meta, I'm going to be talking about it, but I'm also going to provide, ways to help it and improve the game, And yes, some of you guys will disagree with what I have to say, and that is completely fine. Just be sure, please, guys, if you disagree with my opinion, completely fine. We all have our opinions. Just be civil and respectful in the comment section to one another, please. That's all I ask. There's definitely going to be arguments and disagreements, and that is completely fine. Just keep it respectful in the comments. But other than that, let's jump right into the video. The first topic I'm going to talk about is the rush meta, and the rush meta has been a huge topic of discussion since the launch of the game. And keep in mind that I'm going to be looking at this from a bigger perspective. And what I mean by that is, obviously when you play with friends, like in a 4-stack, 3-stack, or even a 2-stack, it's going to be easier in a way because of the communication, and it's going to be more fun. But you also got to look at it from a solo queue perspective, because I do believe that solo queue players make up the majority of our player base for this game. There are definitely more solo queue players out there than people playing with friends, if that makes sense. So you got to look at it from both perspectives. You have to look at it from a bigger perspective in general when we talk about these topics. So for the rush meta, there are two ways to counter this rush meta. And the first way to counter this rush meta is by only giving Leatherface the cutscene. Only Leatherface, not Hitch, Cook, Nancy, etc. Only Leatherface to give him the cutscene in the beginning. The second solution is to make the killer spawn closer to the middle of the map. And I'm gonna explain why these two changes will actually help, with to counter the rush meta, and why more people would actually want to play family. So I'm going to be talking about the two solutions and telling you guys why I believe that these two solutions will help counter the rush meta, and how it will make more people want to play family. A lot of people stop playing family because of the rush meta. So for the first solution, only give Leatherface the cutscene. This is huge. I'm surprised they actually haven't added this to the game yet, because if you only give Leatherface the cutscene, it will give Hitchhiker and Cook time to place their traps and padlocks. That's the whole thing with the rush meta. With the rush meta, the victims can make it upstairs in less than a minute, and Cook and Hitchhiker didn't even have time to place their padlocks and traps. Or even Hans. Hans won't even have time to place his traps because the victims will be upstairs in time. They will be upstairs in less than a minute. So I think it will be a good change, because it will give time for the killers, to maybe collect some blood buckets and maybe set up. That's the whole thing about it. That's why killers DC at the start of the match when victims rush, is because they're not going to have time to set up. So why stay in the game when you don't have time to set up, and the victims will be by the generator or the battery in like 2 minutes, So I think that would be a good solution. Just give Leatherface the cutscene. It will definitely solve a lot of issues, man. The main thing is it will give time for the killers to set up. So it will be harder for the victims to, open up the doors. And that's the whole thing, man. As a victim player, I play victim more than family. Why the hell would I want to be at the exit in 2 minutes? I'll be honest. Games are more fun when you give killers time to set up. So this solution, I hope they do it in the future. It will give killers more time to set up, so victims can't just rush to the battery and generator right away. You know what I mean? It will give killers more time to lock down the map. It will make it more challenging and fun. And that's the whole thing about Victim. When I play Victim, sometimes I'm like, dude, why the hell am I escaping in 2 minutes? I want this to be challenging and fun. But you got to realize, when you rush, yeah, they have no time to set up. And then for the second solution is make the killers spawn closer to the middle of the map. So for an example, this is a huge thing. Gas station. This map is crazy when it comes to the rush meta. So for an example, Johnny. Why the hell is Johnny at the road on gas station? The guy has to open 3 doors to get to the middle of the map. That literally makes no sense. There's times where when I play as a victim, I spawn near the shed basement on gas station, By the time I make it up, Johnny is still there because the guy has to open 3 gates or 3 doors to get to the middle of the map. It literally makes no sense. Like, you can literally do a gas station tech on that map. If you spawn near shed basement, you can be at the generator gate before Johnny even comes out because of how far he spawns. Another example is, I'm actually gonna go through each map maybe here. Trying to think of the map. So Family House, for an example. Why the hell is Johnny and Sissy at the back? You know what I mean? Why the hell is Johnny and Sissy at the back? They should be spawning in the house. Or even at the back garden, they should be spawning. Because by the time they make it to the house, it's either the victim will wait for them to open the door for them, or they'll just jump out window right away because they know that Sissy and Johnny spawns at the back, so they know they have time to jump out the front or do a front door or even the fuse. Another map is Slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse doesn't make sense to me still. Why is Hitchhiker spawning all the way at Generator and Sissy spawning all the way at Battery? Hitchhiker should be spawning maybe in front of the generator facility. Sissy should spawn right in front of the sliding door for Slaughterhouse. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense because it gives victims time to, you know, push the door. So for an example, Slaughterhouse, there are times where, you know, I rush and I can make it to a generator facility door before even Hitch gets out of the facility. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. So if you give killers, like if you make killers spawn towards the middle of the map, number one, it'll help them set up easier because, you know, they don't have to open doors and all that. They can just set their traps and padlocks right away and collect blood buckets. You know what I mean? So I think that would be another good solution. Another map is, okay, Slaughterhouse. We talked about Slaughterhouse, gas station, and yeah, Family House. Yeah. It just, the killers shouldn't be spawning far from the middle of the map. They shouldn't be opening 3 doors to get to the middle of the map. They should spawn in like the near the middle of the map so they have more time to set up and lock down the map. That's the whole point of Family. You know what I mean? That's the whole point, is to set up. So if you do those 2 solutions right there, if they add it to the game, only giving Leatherface the cutscene and making the family members spawn closer to the middle of the map, I personally believe it will solve a lot of issues. You know, it will give killers more time to set up, which is what killers want. They want time to set up because they can't. You know, that's the whole thing with the rush meta. Killers hate it because they don't got time to set up, and that's the whole point of the game, is for the victims to, you know, to like strategize and think what they should do next. You know what I mean? Because with the killers, if you give them time to set up, you know, the victims have to think on their feet and make quick decisions. And that's the fun. That's the fun part of the game, is to make quick decisions on your feet and trying to get doors open. If you just rush, there's not, I'll be honest, there's nothing fun. There's nothing fun about rushing and escaping in 2 minutes. I'll be honest with you, dude. I'll be honest, I do rush, and there's nothing fun about rushing and escaping in 2 minutes, literally, because guess what? You rush in 2 minutes, you go into a queue, you gotta wait 5 minutes, and then wait 10 minutes to get into an actual game. That's the whole thing. This is why the lobby times are garbage now, because of the rush meta as well, but obviously other variables as well, which I'll be talking about later on in the video. But yeah, the rush meta, if they do those 2 solutions, it will solve a lot of issues. It will give killers time to set up, which is crucial in this game, because it will be more challenging for the victims. And that's what's fun about the game, is challenging games. Challenging games make the game more fun. Challenging games make the games more fun because you got to think on your feet and make quick decisions with your team. So for the second topic, this one's going to hurt a lot of people because there's some choose fight addicts out there in the TCM community. This is going to hurt a lot of people, and we're going to be talking about the grappling. Dude, grappling is a huge topic. You know, it's 50-50 in my opinion. Some people hate it, some people like it, and I understand why people like it and hate it because I play on both ends. Dude, let's just go right into it because this is going to be a big one here. So with the grappling, dude, choose fight is I'll be honest, guys, choose fight doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me because in the game now, why are victims chasing the family members to grapple them? That shouldn't be a thing in the game. There are victims in this game, when I play family, where they just run at you without doing any objectives just to grapple you for fun. because they know you're going to be sitting there for a while with choose fight. It doesn't make sense. It should be the opposite. The victim should be playing more cautious, and the family members should be chasing the victims. It shouldn't be the opposite. It is the opposite though. Victims are chasing family members to grapple them, and they're not doing an objective because they know how strong choose fight is. And dude, I still don't understand the choose fight perk because, dude, as a victim, dude, it's crazy. If you have 50 strength and you choose fight someone on a generator, you can kick it in their face. Same thing goes for battery now because of the battery fix. The battery fix, yeah. If you close encounter someone at the battery with 50 proficiency, you can turn off the battery in their face. And I think that's actually nuts because, dude, the family members are going to be helpless. And I'll be honest, the choose fight perk is a main reason why family players are quitting this game and they're not playing family anymore. And this is why lobbies are horrendous now, specifically after this update because of that proficiency fix. It's crazy because, dude, they're helpless. And yes, people are going to say, oh, play with friends, you can communicate, you can kill people in the grapple. Dude, you got to look at it from a bigger perspective. Look at it from a solo queue perspective. Imagine coming home from work or school and trying to hop on a game and you got people just grappling you nonstop because they're taking advantage of that stun and how long you get stunned. I don't know, like I don't know what they were thinking. I don't think a killer should be stunned for that long with one perk. It's nuts. And people will say in the comments, dude, new suffocating grip, what the hell are you doing? New suffocating grip. Even then, dude, if you have 50 strength, some people actually like suffocating grip doesn't do much to it does, don't get me wrong, suffocating grip is a really good perk. I get many kills with it, but dude, people with choose fight still win those close encounters even if you get suffocating grip, you know what I mean? And keep in mind, suffocating grip is a level 2 perk now, so you gotta feed grandpa 2 levels to even get that perk. So it just, there are ways to fix it, but I think some people will be pissed off with what I'm about to say, or not pissed off, but just like disagree with me. So let's just talk about the solution for this grappling and all that. Let's just talk about the solution real quick. For the solution of grappling, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. It's either, I don't know how they're gonna do it. I don't know if they're even gonna look at it. But I know some people on like in this TCM community, they say they want choose fight to be charge based. I know a lot of people won't agree with that. Some people also think that choose fight should be less time. Should be less time for the killers to be stunned. It shouldn't be that long. People are saying it should be shorter for the stun time. And I mean, we'll see what they do. But I think a lot of people are gonna hate me for saying this. But I never had a problem from a victim side and even a family side of the insta kill in the close encounter. Never had a problem with that on the victim side. You know why? Because it made you play more cautious as a victim when the insta kill was in the game. I never agreed with it. I don't know why the hell they made close encounters chip damage. What they should have done was, this was the solution to the close encounters. This was the solution. Keep the insta grapple. Keep the insta grapple, but if you win a close encounter, you get out of the animation right away. So for an example, what they should have done was, if you close encounter Johnny and you win that close encounter, you don't grab his ears. You know how now when you grapple Johnny and you win, you grab his ears and like shake his head? What they should have done was keep the insta grapple. If you win a close encounter against a Johnny, you can run right away. You don't have to grab his ears. You just run right away. That would make it more, what's it called? You gotta be more cautious as the victim. That's what I'm trying to say. It's gonna make the victims play more cautious if that's the case. And that's what makes the game more fun, is when you play cautious. Because now, dude, with choose fight, dude, I've seen it when I play as Leland Leland. Dude, you can fight 3 family members on your own. You grapple one killer. The killer is not even gonna kill you with the chip damage. You grapple the second killer, and then you use your barge on the third killer. Dude, you're literally fighting 3 killers with 1 character. Like, how the hell is that? How the hell does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. So I think, dude, a lot of people would disagree with me on this. And to be honest, man, I don't think they should have ever made that chip damage in the close encounters change. I don't think they should have done that. I think what they should have done was keep the insta grapple, but make the animation shorter. You know, so for another example, if you guys don't understand what I'm trying to say here, if you close encounter a hitchhiker right now, you punch him in the face and you stare at him for like 3 seconds. What they could do is insta grapple. Like you can die instantly in a grapple, if a family member hits you. But for an example, if you win a close encounter against a hitchhiker, you don't punch him in the face, you just run away. You know what I mean? They could do that. It's just the choose fight has been a huge meta. A lot of people don't like playing family because of that. You gotta look at it from a solo queue perspective as well, guys. A lot of players don't like it. And it is a pain in the ass at times. I won't lie with you. It is a pain in the ass. And on the victim side, it is fun. I'll be honest. When you play, I'll be honest. When you play with choose fight, it is fun because you're literally taking advantage of the stun, and you can fight 3 killers with 1 character. You know what I mean? It's pretty busted, man. I don't know what they'll do to it. I personally don't know what they'll do to it. I don't know what change they'll make to the choose fight perk or just the grappling in general. It just, I don't think killers should feel helpless, man. The killers are supposed to be there to, you know, scare the victims and make them play more cautious, not them just standing there staring at a wall while the victims do a fuse box, gen, battery, valve. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me. I know a lot of people will disagree with me on this topic, but man, that's just my thoughts. A lot of people are leaving the game and the lobby times are trash because of the choose fight perk, specifically with the proficiency change now. I personally believe they got to look into the grappling and try to change something because, dude, it's bad. It's getting bad. And you guys got to keep in mind that I'm talking about both perspectives as well. I talk about me playing as a family and me playing as a victim as well. Victim, dude, as a victim, you're taking advantage of the family, making them feel helpless. On the family side, it's tough because, dude, you're gonna be spamming your A button the whole game with the choose fight perk. That's the whole thing. People are relying on the button mashing, dude. There's a reason why people aren't using macros out there, man, which is ridiculous. But, dude, it happens. People rely on button mashing, dude. I don't think it should be like that. I really don't think it should be like that, man. I personally believe they should bring back the insta kill, just make the animation shorter. The insta kills and the close encounters. But let me know what you guys think, because I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with me for this grappling. But just let me know what you guys think in the comments. But we're gonna move on to topic number 3 now. For the third and final topic, I'm going to be talking about the Grandpa Perk rework and the proficiency fix on the battery. So let's just talk about the Grandpa Perk rework here. The Grandpa Perk rework is honestly like, what the hell were they thinking? I mean, the tiers make no sense to me. All they should have done here for the Grandpa Perk rework was nerf exterior alarms. And let's just talk about the tier list here real quick, and then I'll talk, or the tiers. I'll talk about the tiers real quick, and then I'll talk about the exterior alarms and what they should have done with that perk, because, you know, a lot of people use that perk, or a lot of people still use it, you know what I mean? But people before the patch, they would just use that perk alone just for level 1, you know what I mean? But so for the Grandpa Perk rework, why the hell is Nobody Escapes Hell and Excited Grandpa level 3? It doesn't make sense to me. Nobody Escapes Hell should be level 1. You know why? Because by the time you feed Grandpa to level 3, the victims are going to be at battery and generator ready. So, like, dude, what's the point of having a level 3? You know what I mean? By the time you get level 3, they're already going to open up doors. You know what I mean? So, if you have that level 1 Nobody Escapes Hell, at least it will slow down the rush meta, and it will be harder for the victims to unlock the doors, you know? It's Nobody Escapes Hell is essentially security pins in a way, because it's harder to unlock the doors. So it will definitely slow down the rush meta if they put it to level 1. And Excited Grandpa as well. Why the hell is Excited Grandpa level 3? Excited Grandpa should 100% be level 1. It just doesn't make sense in my opinion. It should be level 1. It should be level 1. And then for exterior alarms, what they should have done here was, they shouldn't have done the tiers. They should have just nerfed exterior alarms. Exterior alarms was the main complaint from victims when it came to Grandpa perks. You know why? Because what family members would do here is they would just use exterior alarms, speed run it for Grandpa. What I mean by speed run, I mean like just feed Grandpa right away so that it activates. And the reason why they would do that is because it would activate in the basement doors, exterior alarms. So what they should have done here was nerf exterior alarms to where it only works on the doors and the gates upstairs, not the basement. Because what killers would do is they would feed Grandpa right away to level 1 for exterior alarms and then just camp the basement doors. You know what I mean? They would just camp the basement doors because they'll know with exterior alarms which door you're coming from. And that's what they should have done, I think, you know? It would definitely solve a lot of issues as well, because at least the victims can actually go upstairs if the family members have exterior alarms level 1. The victims can actually go upstairs because they won't know which door they're coming from. And that was the main complaint. I'll be honest, I've seen it. That was the main complaint from victims when it came to grandpa perks was exterior alarms because of the fact that it activated on basement doors. So I think maybe they could do that in the future. I hope they do because the tiers make no sense to me. And I'm also going to explain why the tiers make no sense to me. The reason why I believe that the tiers are not a good idea for the grandpa perk rework is because, don't get me wrong, like blood builds are useful. There's time to feed grandpa, there's time. But there's also games where, dude, you got to focus on the objectives and the victims because they're playing aggressive and they're rushing. So there are some games where you can't feed grandpa. I've experienced that on both ends, playing aggressive on the victim, it's hard for the family to play or to feed grandpa. And then when I play family, it's tough to feed grandpa because the victims are playing very aggressive. I experienced it on both ends. And it's hard because with blood builds as well, you spend all that time collecting blood from the buckets or by hitting the victims. And with one click of a button from Agitator, with like what's it called? A shank on grandpa, all those levels pretty much go away. 2.5 levels go away with Agitator, right? So it's like you spend all that time collecting blood with a blood build when you can be using a savagery build instead. And then all that blood you collected goes to waste because of Agitator, right? So that's why I don't think blood builds are the best way to go. I think having a blood perk may be the way to go in a build, but not like, but I think having 3 blood perks, I don't know, man, because there are games where they play aggressive and you can't feed grandpa because you got to patrol really good, right? You got to focus on those aggressive victims. And like I said before, with one shank, with one stab of agitator, 2.5 levels are gone. So I don't think blood builds are as good as savagery builds. But if they do make those changes, like I said earlier about the rush meta, like only making Leatherface have the cutscene and making the family member spawn closer to the map, there could be time to feed grandpa. And like I say always on my streams, there's time to feed grandpa, but you gotta look at it from a solo queue perspective as well. I will predict that majority of solo queue family teams, they don't even feed grandpa. They don't even bother because they know that victims will stab him. And they know that there's no point of feeding grandpa to level 3 because agitator, right? So that's why I think the grandpa perk rework is a mistake. There's a reason why lobbies are trash now. There's a reason why no one wants to play family. And I know what people will say. Family members should adapt. But if we have no family members, then we have no victim games. So, because let's be honest, man, a lot of people were celebrating this update, but now the people that were celebrating the update are playing family because the queue times are complete garbage on the victim side. The queue times and the lobbies. You're literally sitting in the lobbies for like 10 minutes, dude. That's how bad it is. So, I mean, there's a reason why, man. There's a reason why the lobbies are bad. It's because no one wants to play family. It's not fun. As family, you have to feed grandpa to level 3 to get the good perks. You gotta watch out for the choose fight and the rush meta at the same time. So it's hard to feed grandpa when you gotta focus on 2 other variables. You know what I mean? So I think they should just scrap the idea, the grandpa perk rework, and just nerf exterior alarms because a lot of people were just complaining about exterior alarms anyway because of how it activated on the basement doors. Now I want to talk about the proficiency fix on the battery, and my god, the proficiency fix on battery. Oof. Dude, you can turn off battery pretty quick now. Like with 50 proficiency, what is it, like 7.5 seconds or 7.5 seconds or something like that? Dude, it's actually nuts. There are people who are posting videos out there on YouTube. I forgot the YouTuber's name. But he literally posted him and his squad rushing battery. And dude, it's actually sad to see family members being helpless because the choose fight on top of that, right? Like, dude, it's brutal. It's brutal being a family member and going to battery, getting choose fighted, and seeing the battery turn off right in your face and the gate opening with one click of a button with Connie's ability. Yeah, I'm not complaining about Connie's ability. Connie's ability is unique. I'm not complaining about that. But what I'm trying to say is with Connie, if you have like 2 people with choose fight beside you, good luck to the family, man, because Connie can just turn off that battery in 7.5 seconds and use her ability on the gate. And that's tough for like I said, that's tough for the family because, dude, by the time they get out of that stun, they're gone, dude. They're gone. That's why I think they should make a fix for that battery, like the solutions I mentioned before for the grappling, because, dude, it's tough for the family at times. You know, like I said before, the victim should be the one that's playing more cautious, not the family, man. That's a huge point I'm saying right there. The victims should be the players that are more cautious, not the family. The family players are more cautious, in my opinion, because they're looking out for the choose fight, right? It shouldn't be the victims chasing the family members. It should be the opposite, like I said before. It should be the family chasing the victims, not the victims chasing the family. Those were the three topics I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the rush meta, the grappling, and the Grandpa Perk rework because I felt that it was needed. The current state of the game is bad right now. I'm going to be honest. I love this game. I love this game. I've been playing it since August, but let's be honest. There's a reason why the lobbies are garbage, and there's a reason why the current state is bad, man. It's bad, and hopefully the devs make some good changes. And and I know some people are going to say in the comments that I'm complaining and crying, but I'm just providing some constructive criticism. That's all I'm providing here. I'm just sharing my opinion, and I hope you guys respect my opinion and be civil and respectful in the comments. That's all I ask for. If you guys disagree with me, that's completely fine. We all have different opinions. It's completely fine. But other than that, just leave a comment down below if you guys, agree with what I said or disagree with what I said, and just I'll respond to some of your comments and we can have some civil conversations in the comments. But other than that, guys, take care and have a good day. See you in the next one.